The Gift of Athena. Long, long ago, when this world was a very young place, and when the few people there were had just begun to live together in groups for their own protection, the great god selected the places for humans to build their cities. They looked down upon the earth through the clouds that shrouded their home on the very peak of the high mountain called Olympus, and they chose the sites they thought would provide everything mortals needed to live and to prosper. Now, each god and goddess was eager to have a great city built in his or her honor, and so the prime locations, the very best places for the great cities to be built, came to cause much bickering and jealousy among the many deities, for all wanted a great city built in their honor, a city whose people would worship that particular god or goddess above all others. It happened that great Zeus, the king and the ruler of all the gods, had found a spot on earth that appeared to be absolutely ideal for the building of a noble city. Indeed, he foresaw that the city that would be built there would someday become the noblest city on earth. Well, you can imagine that all gods and goddesses wanted this city for their own. And you would be right, but the two who wanted it most of all were Athena, the goddess of wisdom, and Poseidon, the god of seas and rivers. Now, Athena was one of Zeus' daughters, and so you might expect that her father would honor her request. But Poseidon was great Zeus' brother, and Zeus did not want to disappoint him either. Poseidon appealed to Zeus, saying that this location would provide the city with the greatest natural harbor in all the world and destined it to be a great seaport. Therefore, as god of the sea, it was only right that he, Poseidon, should be its chief god. But Athena argued just as earnestly that the greatness of this city would not lie in its commerce, but rather in the respect its people would someday have for art and learning. As goddess of wisdom, therefore, she should be its guardian. Zeus, at last, decided upon a way to end this quarrel and to choose fairly between the two. He called for a great council to be held at the very site of the new city, and there, with all the gods and goddesses arrayed before him, Zeus spoke from his golden throne in a clear, commanding voice. Listen, he said, to the will of Zeus, who judges now between Poseidon and Athena. The city that is desired by each shall bear the name of that god, who shall bring forth from the earth the better gift for the mortals who will dwell here. If Poseidon's gift be judged more useful, the city shall be called Poseidonia. But Athena's gift be deemed the better, the city shall forever after be known as Athens. Upon hearing this, Poseidon arose in all his majesty, and he stuck this trident hard into the ground right where he stood. The earth shook violently all around until, at last, a great crack opened up in the surface. Out of this steaming chasm leaped a magnificent horse, his powerful white body fully arrayed in battle gear, a war horse like none had ever seen before. Behold my gift, said Poseidon, and call the city after my name. For who can give these mortals a better present than the horse, which will ensure their protection from all their enemies? But Athena looked steadfastly with her keen gray eyes at the assembled gods, and she stooped slowly down to touch the earth where she stood. She said nothing but continued to gaze calmly on that great council. Presently, they all witnessed a small shoot growing from the ground where Athena had touched her hand. It grew swiftly and in minutes had sprouted thick and luscious boughs and leaves. Higher and higher it rose until green fruit appeared on its clustering branches. My gift is better, O Zeus, than that of Poseidon, she said. The horse has given shall bring war and strife and anguish to these mortals and their children. But my gift, the olive tree, is the sign of peace and plenty, of health and strength, and the pledge of happiness and freedom. Is it not more fitting, then, that the city to be founded here should be called after my name? Then the voices of the gods rose in the air as one. The gift of Athena is better by far. For it is the token that this city shall be greater in peace than in war, and nobler in its freedom than its power. Let the city be called Athens forevermore. Hearing their appeal, Zeus then bowed his head as a sign of his judgment that the city should be named for Athena. The earth trembled as he rose from his golden throne to return to the halls of Olympus. Athena stood gazing over the land that her victory had given her, and she decided that it was here that she would make her home. Here, she said, my children will grow up in happiness, and they will come to understand that freedom is the greatest gift a people can receive. And when the torch of freedom has gone out in Athens, it will be passed on to other peoples in other lands throughout the world. The end. Thank you for listening. Until next time. Bye.